The rain hammered the broken asphalt like angry fingers the night everything changed for Ethan Ward. The streetlights flickered above him as if they were afraid of the darkness gathering around the alley. He knew he shouldn't have taken the shortcut home, but when you're a single father trying to reach your son before his fever spikes again, fear takes a back seat. Yet the moment he heard the roar of motorcycle engines behind him, low and threatening like growling beasts, he realized he had just stepped into the one thing he had spent years avoiding. Because this wasn't just any biker group, this was the same gang he had escaped from long ago, the same people who believed he had betrayed them, the same men whose lives had been spent on violence, silence, and unforgivable codes, and now he was trapped in the very world he once ran from. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and redemption, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also tell us in the comments where you're watching from so we can see our family across the world. Ethan tightened his grip on the bag of medicine, his breath ragged, drenched in fear and rain. Life had never been gentle to him. After losing his wife Lily in an accident 5 years ago, he had no time to mourn. His little boy Noah needed him more than ever. He worked 2 jobs, slept barely 4 hours a night, and kept his past buried under layers of sweat and sacrifice. No one at his construction site knew anything about the tattoo on his back, the one he always kept hidden. They didn't know about the gang he once rode with, the gang he abandoned when he chose to save an innocent life instead of following blind orders. He left that night bleeding, branded a traitor, but alive. For Noah, he stayed silent about everything. For Noah, he carried every burden alone. The engines grew louder as the motorcycle circled him in the narrow alley. Ethan kept his head low, hoping they wouldn't recognize him in the darkness, but fate had a strange way of dragging you back into the stories you fought so hard to escape. The leader, a towering man named Stone Mercer, stepped off his bike. His face was sharp and merciless, lit by the glow of the streetlight. Stone had once treated Ethan like a younger brother, until the night everything fell apart and Ethan's loyalty was questioned. Stone still believed Ethan had betrayed the gang, and time had only carved deeper hatred into him, but something else happened that Ethan didn't expect. A woman climbed off the bike behind Stone, a woman with trembling hands, wet eyelashes, and fear woven into her breath. Her name was Aria Collins. She was the gang leader's girlfriend, known in the underground world for her cold silence. But tonight she looked far from cold. Tonight she looked broken, scared, and strangely connected to the tension in the air. Ethan tried to explain he wanted no trouble, that he only needed to get home to his sick child. But words meant nothing in a place where loyalty was measured in scars. Stone demanded Ethan prove he wasn't the traitor they remembered. And in the brutal rules of the gang, the proof wasn't spoken, the proof was inked. Stone ordered him to show the tattoo they believed had been replaced or altered after Ethan betrayed them. With trembling hesitation, Ethan pulled off his rain-soaked jacket, slowly lifting the back of his shirt. The cold night air stung his skin, but nothing hurt as much as the memories etched into the ink between his shoulder blades. The tattoo, the one symbolizing the gang's oath, was still there, untouched. But beside it, a second marking rested, a small, delicate symbol he got in honor of his late wife Lily, placed carefully as a promise that he would never return to violence again. Aria gasped when she saw it, not because of the gang tattoo, but because of the symbol beside it. Her hands flew to her mouth as tears filled her eyes. Stone stared in confusion, unable to understand why his girlfriend was crying over a single mark. Aria collapsed to her knees, her voice cracking as she whispered the name Lily under her breath. Ethan froze. He hadn't heard anyone speak his wife's name in years. The alley felt suddenly heavier, the rain quieter, as truth unfolded in the most unbelievable way. Aria revealed that Lily wasn't just someone she had heard about. Lily had once saved Aria's life. Years before her death, Lily had volunteered at a shelter where Aria, running from an abusive home, had taken refuge. Lily had protected her, fed her, and helped her escape a life of suffering. Aria had never forgotten her kindness, and now, seeing the symbol Ethan carried for Lily, she realized he was the husband Lily used to talk about with warm eyes and unshakable love. Ethan felt the world tilt. Aria began crying harder, overwhelmed with gratitude, guilt, and shock. She told Stone that Lily's kindness had helped her survive, and that if Ethan was Lily's husband, he wasn't the traitor they believed, he was someone who knew compassion in a world filled with cruelty. Stone's expression shifted, confusion wrestling with pride. For the first time, he hesitated. Ethan finally explained the truth. The night he walked away from the gang, he wasn't betraying them, he was saving a teenage boy the gang wanted gone. A boy who didn't deserve to die. Ethan had refused to harm someone innocent, and instead, he had run. Yes, he broke the code, but he kept his humanity. Arya confirmed everything with her tears. She begged Stone to let Ethan go, not just because of Lily, but because the world needed men who could walk away from darkness for the sake of their children. Noah's medicine slipped from Ethan's hand as he stood there, exhausted, drained, and too tired to defend himself further. Stone finally stepped back. For the first time since Ethan had known him, the leader of the biker gang lowered his head, not in defeat, but in acknowledgement. Something in the truth softened him. Something in Lily's memory reached him. Something in Arya's trembling voice forced him to see the man standing in the rain not as a traitor, but as a father trying to keep a promise. They let Ethan go that night, but Arya did something no one expected. She approached Ethan, placing the medicine back into his hands, her eyes still wet with tears. She told him Lily would be proud of him. That the symbol on his back wasn't just ink, it was love, sacrifice, and loyalty of a different kind. She apologized for every wrong done to him by association, and Stone, though silent, nodded in agreement. Ethan walked home in the rain, shaken but free, carrying the medicine close to his chest. When he reached Noah's room and saw his son's small face softening as the fever dropped, he felt a wave of emotion stronger than any fear he had felt that night. He realized he didn't need to run from his past anymore. Sometimes the past brings answers. Sometimes it brings closure. Sometimes it brings unexpected redemption. As Noah slept peacefully, Ethan stood by the window and looked up at the sky. He thanked Lily in a whispered breath. Somewhere, he hoped she knew that her kindness had lived on, not just in him, but in the woman whose tears changed everything.